Video of the attack shared by Ukrainian officials appears to show cluster bombs being released upon the firing of Russian missiles before the scene erupts into a fireball. According to U.S. officials, Ukraine first used long-range ballistic missiles secretly provided by the U.S. last month in the bombing of a Russian military airbase in Crimea and Russian forces in another occupied territory. The ATACMS were included in a new military aid package signed by President Joe Biden in April. With the medium-range version of the weapon, Ukraine has almost doubled its strike range to 300 kilometers. According to the pro-Ukrainian partisan group Atesh, the missiles targeted a Russian communications center in the city of Alushta in Crimea, occupied by Kiev forces.
In the theater of international politics, where the stakes are incredibly high, the tension between Russia and the West has reached a fever pitch. The world watches with bated breath as Russian President Vladimir Putin orders military drills involving the deployment of tactical nuclear weapons, a move triggered by perceived threats from the West. The roots of this tension trace back to 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine. At that time, the world watched in stunned silence as the Russian military moved into Ukraine, a nation that had been steadily moving towards a more Western orientation. Western officials expressed their support for Ukraine, a stance that ignited the ire of the Russian administration. The following year, in 2023, the situation escalated. The United States and European countries voiced their concern over Russia's actions, preparing for potential nuclear attacks. The international community condemned Russia's invasion, placing economic sanctions and diplomatic pressure on the country. But Russia, unfazed, continued to escalate its military activities in Ukraine. As we entered 2024, the tension continued to build. Putin's order for military drills involving tactical nuclear weapons marks a new chapter in this ongoing narrative. This move, seen as a direct response to the perceived threats from the West, has further strained relations between Russia and the West. The international community has reacted with alarm to Putin's order. Fear of a potential nuclear conflict has sparked global concern, adding another layer of complexity to the already tense situation. The world watches as this tension unfolds, hoping for a peaceful resolution while preparing for the worst. In summary, the tension between Russia and the West has been building for years, culminating in Putin's order for tactical nuclear weapons drills. This tension has its roots in Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 and has been exacerbated by Western support for Ukraine, perceived threats from the West, and Russia's ongoing military activities in Ukraine. The world now waits in anticipation, hoping for peace while preparing for the potential of nuclear conflict. The stakes have never been higher. The world watches, waits, and hopes for a peaceful resolution.
Forcibly moved to Russia. On the basis of a falsified criminal case, Gelyal was sentenced to 17 years in a strict regime penitentiary. While in captivity, the political prisoner wrote letters to Ukrainian people expressing his faith in liberation and victory. Monk Ivan Levitsky, originally from Lviv region, he served in Berdyansk in the parish of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church. After the occupation of the city, he continued to pray with the congregation. On November 16, 2022, during a regular prayer in the center of Berdyansk, Levitsky was detained. Monk Bohdan Galeta is from Ivano-Frankivsk region. He served in Berdyansk with Father Levitsky, and together with him held services for believers under occupation. He was detained in the evening of the same day as Levitsky. Both monks were tortured. The 100th Separate Mechanized Brigade is currently creating new units and received new equipment to archive this. 2 weeks ago, they apparently also received Marder 1A3 IFVs, according to footage published by Suspilna Ukraine. This goes in line with the latest deliveries of German military aid to Vyapar, Ukraine, as 2 weeks ago, the German government published the delivery of another 20 Marder 1A3s to Ukraine. The publication of the weapon deliveries by the German government is usually at least 1 or 2 weeks delayed. This makes them the 3rd Brigade confirmed operating the German-made IFVs after the 25th Separate Airborne Syczeslaw Brigade and the 82nd Separate Air Assault Brigade, and the first one operating them outside the Ukrainian Air Assault Forces. In mid-January, the 10th Army Corps published an image of a Marder 1A3, but there never was any confirmation of some battalion or brigade, which is part of the Army Corps, actually operating them. Although the 100th Separate Mechanized Brigade is part of the 10th Army Corps, we never saw footage of them operating the German-made IFVs until now. So there are still some open questions for me. Instead of 1,000 words, the British military sees off Ukrainian soldiers who have finished their training and are returning to Ukraine.
What does the record-breaking shot achieved with the Horizon's Lord mean for Russia? Putin's soldiers now know that Ukraine's snipers are equipped with a weapon that can kill soldiers at distances never before thought possible. They also know that the Horizon's Lord isn't just an anti-personnel rifle, it's an anti-material rifle that can be used to take out armored vehicles at great distances. So Russia now has to deal with Ukraine having a capability on the field that isn't available to them.
Героям слава! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Доброго вечора, друзі! Добрий вечір! Вітаємо! Піхота, піхота! Слава Україні! Героям слава!
The Ukraine war, a conflict of immense magnitude, rages on, casting long shadows over international politics. A complex mosaic of events, shifting alliances, and strategic decisions, it's a story that continues to evolve. In the heart of Eastern Europe, Ukraine finds itself at the center of a geopolitical storm. The recent escalation in the war has seen a flurry of activity, with each event adding a new layer to the intricate tapestry of this conflict. The rise in tensions was marked by Russia's grand military parade, a show of force that resonated across the globe. An ostentatious display of military might, it symbolized Russia's unwavering resolve in the face of adversity and served as a stark reminder of the nation's formidable capabilities. Following this, Ukraine retaliated with an air attack on Russia, a daring move that underscored the high stakes in this war. The fallout from this event reverberated through diplomatic circles, reshaping the dynamics of the conflict. In a surprising twist, Russia agreed to withdraw troops from Armenia amidst the escalating tensions. This decision marked a significant shift in Russia's strategy, offering a glimmer of hope in an otherwise bleak landscape. However, the relative calm was short-lived, as Russia issued a stern nuclear deterrent warning. This chilling declaration amplified the urgency of the situation, underscoring the global implications of this conflict. Amid the turmoil, Ukraine appointed a new ambassador to the UK, a move indicative of its intent to strengthen international alliances. Yet, in a parallel development, the Ukrainian agriculture minister was dismissed, hinting at internal strife within the country's leadership. Adding fuel to the fire, a Russian oil processing plant was targeted in an attack, escalating the situation further. This assault on a critical infrastructure reflected the volatile nature of the conflict and its far-reaching impacts. As these events unfolded, Russia reveled in its Victory Day celebrations, a poignant reminder of the nation's storied military history. Yet the specter of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine loomed large, casting a somber shadow over the festivities. In conclusion, the Ukraine war continues to shape global politics in significant ways. From Russia's military parade and Ukraine's retaliatory air attack to diplomatic shifts and strategic decisions, each event adds a new dimension to this complex conflict. Amidst the chaos, the appointment of Ukraine's new ambassador to the UK and the dismissal of its agriculture minister highlight the nation's internal dynamics and international relations. Meanwhile, the attack on the Russian oil plant underscores the volatile nature of the war and its potential for far-reaching impacts. As the world watches with bated breath, the Ukraine war remains a poignant testament to the complexities of international politics.
Elena Zelenska. So indeed, Russian propaganda started to spread the disinformation that the First Lady of Ukraine bought Bugatti for more than $4 million or euros. They do not even specify the currency. Well, there are some of the tricks why this thing is not real. First of all, blank and black written in different style or even different languages. This was shared by the Russian propaganda elsewhere, stating that it is the real bill, but it's not. I just show you how easy you can handle everything in Photoshop. It's not the evidence. If you check out the Ryan's channel, you'll find more proofs that it is fake.
Olena Zelenska purchased a $4.5 million car.
And so the conflict began, setting the stage for a prolonged and intense struggle. struggle continued, marked by significant victories and losses on both sides. The international community's response highlighted the complexities of global alliances and the far-reaching implications of the conflict. Section 4, Humanitarian Impact. The war hurt many people in Ukraine. Millions had to leave their homes. Some went to other countries. Others moved to safer parts of Ukraine. This was very hard for families.
Many people lost everything they had. Cities were badly damaged by bombs and missiles. Houses, schools, and hospitals were hit. This made life very hard for people who stayed. They often did not have power or water. Winter was especially tough. People were cold and hungry.
Many people died in the war. Both soldiers and regular people were killed. It's hard to know exactly how many, but it's in the tens of thousands. This caused great sadness in Ukraine and Russia. Families on both sides lost loved ones. The war also affected people around the world. Food prices went up.
Ukraine and Russia grow a lot of the world's grain. With the war, less food was sent out. This made it hard for poor countries to get enough food. The war's effects reached far beyond Ukraine.
Section 5. Looking ahead, the war's future. After a year of war, both sides are still fighting. Neither Russia nor Ukraine has won. The war could go on for a long time. Both countries say they will keep fighting. They both think they can win.
The world keeps watching and helping Ukraine, but people worry about how long this can last. Some countries might get tired of helping. Others worry the war could get bigger. They fear it might spread to other countries.
Ukraine wants all its land back. This includes Crimea. Russia says it won't give up what it has taken. This makes it hard to find peace. Both sides need to agree to stop fighting. But right now, they don't want to.
The war has changed many things. It has made countries think differently about security. It has shown that big wars can still happen today. As the war goes on, the world hopes for peace. But no one knows when or how it will end.
The effects of this war will be felt for many years to come.